You have those friends who are like veteran drunks, even when you're a kid. And my friend Dan, he's actually a bartender at the Cellar now, but I grew up with Dan. And we used to go out drinking all the time. He was like a friend I do 40s with in the street. We'd have fake IDs, all that shit. I remember Dan was such a jaded New Yorker. He was a year older than me. And we were walking down the street drinking beers, and the cops stopped us and made us fill out the summons. And Dan he's not even scared. He just keeps drinking. The cop goes, "You can keep drinking now that we gave you a summons, because it's, in my, you can't be in trouble for the same thing." And Dan goes, "Yeah, I know the rules." And he just keeps drinking casually. Those were like my friends when they were just like, we get it, officer. We know what happened. This is my first fucking
ridiculous.
Rodeo.
That's absurd. When you're doing that at the age of like 14, there's something wrong, it's just not natural, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the rules. Thanks, dude. I've read the NYPD handbook, chapter 6.
This is like my fifth time. I'm a felon at this.
Yeah, he's like citing double jeopardy. I'm like, I don't think that's for summons on the street. I think they could still. But all right.
I had two cousins, the Jewish side of my family. Two cousins. They lived on Central Park West. They're big ritzy bougie family. They had a house in the Jersey Shore, and they called it the country house. Like, that's how they were so city that like Jersey was like the deep country. It's like they're just not normal when you come up around here, man. It's just a totally different experience. But I also feel like that's got to be like incredible for comedy, no?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to clubs when I was in high school. I remember seeing Bill Burr at the comic strip and just being blown away, and seeing Dave Attell at Caroline's, Patton Oswalt at Caroline's. I mean, it was pretty damn special to see all those guys. And yeah, I remember, it's crazy. I saw Bill Burr at comic strip. Then like a couple years later, I was in college. He came down to my college, so I got to hang out with him a little bit. And then like another 8 years after that, we were just on a Conan episode together. And now I just know the guy. It's hilarious how time flies like that. But yeah, just seeing that level of comedy when you're young is pretty cool. I mean, I saw Attell just like, it was like Jedi level shit. I mean, just seeing him work a crowd, it's good.
Right?
It's good to, I mean, a lot of people come from other cities and they're like, this guy's incredible, but like they're incredible in Topeka, if you're in New York City, you're like, oh shit, Dave Attell is like the funniest guy in the world. It's crazy.
I feel like there's also such a like brotherhood or whatever you want to call it, community, family in comedy. But like once you get past at a club, or you like put out a special, or you have some success, you're like in with these guys, right? I feel like there's a level of respect that it's like you all at least recognize each other. You're not best friends or anything, but it's like you'll get respect from all these guys that you may have grown up watching, because I feel like you've earned it at this point.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the comics that I've always revered have always they turned out to be very generous. And once they shit on you, you feel good. You're like, oh shit, like me. Like that. It's funny. It's like, I remember one night I was at the Cellar, and I was smoking a cigar on the steps with Mike Vecchione. It was my birthday. I was like, I'm gonna have a birthday cigar. And Attell comes out of nowhere and he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, "Hey Sam, you had a good set, but it wasn't that good."
It was a cigar on the stoop.
Wasn't cigar on the stoop good. So like whenever they shit on you, or like it's pretty cool when they shit on you. Like, all right, I feel like that's how they show you they like you. Like it's like a kid in the it's like when you're like 3 and you push a girl off the seesaws and they're like, he likes you,
Right. Yeah, if comics I feel like if comics are nice to you, it's like, oh yikes, you fucking stink, dude. You bomb.
Nothing worse than a comic going, "Hey buddy," you're like, "Oh my god, what did I do?
Oh yeah.
Am I about to get me too'd? What happened?"
Is this something you always wanted to do? Like, all right, so here's the question. Do you remember like your first big laugh where you went like, okay, I'm funny? Maybe not even necessarily like in a club. Like it could be just like at a family party or something,
at the
like
playground,
that.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, in high school, I was getting laughs just being a bad kid. Like it wasn't highbrow stuff. It was like a teacher would call me and I'd lift both of my heads behind my head and fart and everyone would laugh. And it wasn't like oh shit, Carlin-esque. It was more like me just going for
I don't know, man. Listen, some kid puts his legs above his head and farts. That's a peak comedy in my book. Holy shit.
I remember there was a few lines in high school that definitely like I remember our high school was across the street from a hotel. So there would sometimes be people naked across, and it would just be, it was like the obvious joke, but I'd be the only one willing to say it, you know, in the class. So like someone would be naked and I would like stand up and be like, titties. And everyone would like cheer and they'd be like, get out, Sam. So it was like shit like that. And then over time, I was trying to go for wittier, like that, I was like a bad kid. And then it hit like 11th, 12th grade. And I started like going for the joke that like included the teacher. So then they started liking me. I was like, oh, let me try to get everybody on board here. So that was like, and then eventually I did like a thing for the school where we had to do community service and then do a presentation on it. And I tried to make it a stand-up routine and it killed. And that was horrible because I was like, well, clearly I'm ready. Let me start hitting the mics. And then it was like people with like fucking 40s just being like, this guy fucking sucks. So it was like, it was like that high, that low. And then I would do like shows where my friends would show up, bringer shows, and I would kill again. So it was such a mercurial existence where I'm like, I don't know where I am yet, but I know that it's a drug. When you get that good high, you're like, I got to get back to that good high.
Yeah. We talked about it relatively recently. Like, I suppose maybe if you're a singer or a band or whatever, you're on stage and you see everyone like, you know, singing your songs or dancing along to your shit. But I mean, other than that, like, the feeling of having a crowd just like in stitches, I don't know if there's anything that like compares to that type of the confidence and swagger and like cockiness that you must get out of it, where it's like, I just owned this room, rooftop, club, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely so I needed something because I felt like I came from a family of, you know, my brother and sister were just straight up overachievers. Both went to Ivy League law schools. I mean,
oh shit.
For me, it was kind of like, I got to stand out some way because I'm not getting attention, you know, in that way. I wasn't getting like academic attention.
What would you have done?
I don't know. I started stand up at like 18, so I didn't really have a plan B. I think, yeah, I think it was just like what, and also you start out as a comic, you don't understand how much work it takes. Like I realize now, like, man, I have to work pretty hard just to be like an okay comic. But when I was 18, I think a lot of it was like, well, I'll drink for free at this job. Like I wasn't thinking like health insurance wasn't an issue for me. I was like, oh, whatever, fuck health insurance. I can get a free screwdriver whenever I want. This is worth it. And my mom, I think, was like hip to that, where she was like, I think you just like that you can get drunk. And I was like, stop it, Mom. You know, it's hammered.
Brown liquor. Brown water.
But, you know, yeah, I think, and then over time, I mean, I loved stand-up. It wasn't like that. But then I realized like, oh, David Tell drinks a lot, but he works his fucking ass off. Like this guy works so hard. And then I'd see other comics like who I respected. And the ones I respected were clearly prolific. And I heard Colin Quinn say, you have no shot in this business if you have a drinking problem. He's like, he's like, it's already enough against you. You have no chance.
Wow. I mean, is there any way, I feel like, you know, you guys do like 6-7 nights a week, like 25 sets a week. Is there any way, do you have to do that? Like, do you know of anybody who's made it, who's like, yeah, I go up on Thursdays and Saturdays and like, that's it?
I think some people, but they've made it through some other avenue. Like they have a huge podcast or they're like on a TV show or something. I think the ones who make it, it's like you're never going to be a Jim Gaffigan and go up twice a week. Like those guys are just, they're addicts, they're fiends. And you feel it in their comedy. And there are people that they're famous enough to keep getting like deals from Netflix or Amazon or HBO, but they're not good specials, a lot of those people. So if it's someone who's putting out a lot of work and the quality's high, then yeah, I think you got to get up like a psycho. I think you have to.
Crazy.